It's funny, I always apologize for my demos because they're made in an emotional frenzy, and I wind up wanting to share them right away. And of course I go back and I listen to the mix I've created, and it's not a professional mix. It's a mix done by someone who's way too excited about the song, and so I wind up having to use a lot of compression and limiters to try to keep the thing together enough to make a good enough MP3, to message everybody with. But at the heart of it, there's usually me playing my P bass really hard,
I'm a Mike Lowell bass endorser, but I know from having worked with Joe for a long time that when he makes a demo, he uses the same trusty bass that he's been using forever, which is a 1972 Fender P bass with a jazz bass neck with a maple fingerboard. And you don't usually think about P basses as a bright sound. Usually it's dark and warm like James Jamerson Motown. But there is this other world of P basses with a maple neck. And the only time I ever really thought about the sound of a P bass with a maple neck was Steve Harris from Iron Maiden, I went to Joe when we were starting this because I remembered from the Shockwave sessions, the song Cataclysmic? That is the sound of somebody playing with a pick on a P bass with a maple fingerboard. That's just what it is.
Bryan's been able to pinpoint, we can't replace that with some slick bass part. That's gonna have to stay, and so what can we do to make that work?
So I went to him and I said, Joe, that sound that you're getting with your P bass, I feel like that I should have that in my arsenal. If we're gonna work remotely on this, I want to be able to reproduce that for you on the songs where you really want it.
It was about getting Bryan the right bass so that he would have time at home in his home studio to try to capture that vibe, but just do it in a professional way, because I'm a total hack. I'm just, overcome with the emotion of writing the song when I record these things, and I purposely don't work on them because I'm afraid I might cover up some very important emotional message that is going to be key to making this song work.
And Joe was so cool about it. He's like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let me talk to my friend at Bananas at Large, a dealer up in San Rafael, and see if they have a P bass with a maple fingerboard in stock. And they did, and they sent me this. So this is literally the bass that I used it for Sahara, and I used it for Bluefoot Groovy, and I used it for 22 Memory Lane, and whenever that sound was in there, it was really obvious what it was, and you could hear it was like straight from the lineage of Flying in a Blue Dream. Just an octave lower, but that's the thing. So I got this and I started tracking with it, and it ended up being a big part of the album. And now I have this, new insight into kind of a part of what makes the Joe sound for really a whole album.